So at the moment, it's recording. I've got my drops.
So exciting.
Oh, yes, am I recording? Excellent. So you can record as well. Well, we've learned new today.
Yeah. Right. Okay, all ready. And I'm going to put it on speaker view. So now when I record it, no, it needs to be on your view. I need to be able to see you.
So do I need to change the view of it?
No, now it's fully on you and I've hit record and we're ready to go. That's it.
Thank you, Jamie. So should I put it on pause for the moment?
Yeah, I might do the same.
Because we'll get people walking in.
The lighting is lovely. It all works. So yes, if you want to hit pause or whatever, and yeah, go for it. And then I'll hit.
Unless you want to come and introduce yourself. They're all gone. No, I'm actually being a bit naughty because I haven't told them that I'm going to do this today as a recording. Okay. So they're coming in and thinking, what the heck? I'll help you overcome the obstacle then.
Well, I've got to read from the script because I've really struggled with this to make it 10 minutes, so I have to write.
You'd be great, honestly. The right people are here today.
I would imagine mine's about 2 minutes.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm going to pause it for the moment and then I'll come back and start again. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much for your doing.
All right.
Good morning, Jamie. Thank you for recording today.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're just waiting for people to settle in their chairs and then I'll make a little introduction. It's been a morning of shifting, changing, and people. Sorry, that's fine. That's fine.
Associated card with gambling in India. My brother didn't like it, so I don't think anyone in the house liked it. It's all playing cards in the
That's okay. Right. Fantastic.
Once I've introduced.
Yes, you just stay with yes. So you've got to have no. This is different.
Together. Something here. Yes. Are you okay back there, ladies? There's some chairs here if you want them in the centre. Are you okay there? You're okay, you're happy. Okay. If you want to move further in later, just go for it. Okay.
This is sit next to me, but I won't take it personally.
There are another couple of ladies said that they might join us, but what we'll do, we'll leave it as an open space at the moment, because if they join us, then that's okay. If they don't, then the right people are in the room. Okay. And if I could ask if everyone could just switch off their phones, please. Including me. Amy, you've got your video, your audio on, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you've got the audio on. I can hear you happy having a chat, which is lovely. Okay. Helen, if you're cold, I'll just close the windows. So good morning, everybody, and thank you. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, because this is the beginning of a whole new journey for us. A few months ago, or before that even, I'd had this vision of bringing together a team of people who would help and support others on their journey. So this is like a stepping stone towards that bigger vision that we see. Okay, so well done for stepping out. And some of you might have come today because you think you're coming for help and support, but don't underestimate the journey that you've been through where you actually could step up and help other people. Because we have got some really great speakers today coming to talk and share things that they're passionate about. But as you're listening to those people, take a moment just to think about your own experiences and what you've been through, and always think to yourself, there is someone outside in my life that's coming towards me that needs to hear what I've been through and how I've overcome that. Don't underestimate what you have been through, because your soul has traveled that journey to this moment in time, sitting at a crossroads and thinking, where do I go from here? Some of you might know where you're going. For others, it's a mystery. So welcome, everybody. If we're looking back on this journey for myself, my journey began, oh, I just remembered I should do some housekeeping. Okay, thank you. So I am listening. Okay. We can multitask when you work with spirit. Okay. If you need the toilets, then you go down the stairs and they're to your left. Go back on yourself, they're to the left, or there's some at the bottom of the stairs. We're not expecting a fire drill today, but if there is a fire drill, go downstairs, turn right, out through the front door, and we all meet outside the church. All right. If anyone does need to get up and move out, because I know sometimes, just want to move, just please do so. Right? There will never be a perfect time for me to say go. Just take that time for yourself, because today is about honouring yourself. It's not about anyone else in the room, so don't look around at what your friends are thinking or what they're experiencing. What are you taking from today? All right. So back to my story. My journey began, I think my healing journey began about 33 years ago. All of my life, I struggled with panic attacks and anxiety, and I actually thought that was just the way I was. No one ever told me any different. From the first time I can remember, medication was a part of my life, just to keep my mood swings up, control my tummy problems, all this irritable bowels, panic attacks. And I just thought it was the way it was. And I learned to be very introverted from a very young age. So it wasn't, if I'm looking back now, it's not something I would have chosen, but from that, I've actually learned that sometimes we don't know who we are. And when you're sitting in a crossroads like this at the moment, in a session where there are really upbeat, happy people, sometimes we will sit and compare ourselves. And that's what I did. I spent a lot of my life comparing myself to other people and thinking, what's wrong with me? And looking back now, there wasn't nothing wrong. I just didn't know how to help myself. And through a series of events, things that happened, I was sitting in a play school one day and I had what you call a pivotal moment. When you know that moment when you get to your life and you think, God, I can't take any more. My dear little daughter, she was only 3 at the time, she was so clingy, it was unreal. You know, I think we felt we were joined at the hip. We were never going to live, it was going to be that way for the rest of our lives. And I sat there and you know how you feel, that feeling where you just want to go in on yourself and the world to despair. And I just said to myself, oh, dear God, please show me a way out of this. I just needed some time for me. Because to me, play school represented a space where mum can walk away and the child gets on. But we were so engrossed in our own feelings that I couldn't move. I didn't want to leave her in that distressed space. And as I sat there in my sadness, and I was crying inwardly, not outwardly, but my daughter was crying, I just thought, I can't move, can I? Because she needs me. And I can't tell you if that was a moment or a minute, but it felt like a moment. I felt this little tap on my shoulder, and this lady, I just saw this little hand appear in front of me, and she said, excuse me, this little bottle might help you and your daughter. And I was so embarrassed by how I felt and how I must look, I didn't even look back at her. I just took this bottle out of her hand and said thank you under my breath, and she disappeared. And I didn't even know who that woman was. I didn't know that she was about to change my life, but not immediately. So I do understand when we put that thought out there that someone needs help, and I can recognize that they need help, and they might know they need help. There will be a time between when we approach that person and when they're ready to step in and take the help. And I've learned a lot of patience around that. And I think my journey has given me that understanding that you can't rush someone through a healing journey. Anyway, to cut a long story short, over the next few days, I did start to feel calmer when I started taking these little drops. And I found it's called Rescue Remedy. And it was a combination of different essences, which are natural and helps with your different state of mind. And anyway, these drops were helping me, but the even bigger miracle, about a month later, maybe a little bit short than that, but it seemed like a month because it felt like a long time of being in an almost unusual space where I felt calming myself. And I've never experienced this in my life. And this little bottle of remedy was only me taking it, but my daughter slept through the night. And I actually, like her mum, I kept popping in for 2 or 3 nights to see what was going on, see if she's okay. But she slept through the night. And it was like a miracle. I've never had a child sleep through the night. I'd had 3.5 years of this child literally attached to me. And I was just like, oh, wow, how could this be? I didn't understand back then what was happening. Anyway, cut a long story short, and it was a long story short, because that plateau did remain with me for a long while. But 2 years later, as life does, it throws you another curveball, and sometimes we don't have choices. And this time my daughter had to go to school. She was thrown in to this school, and that's what I felt like. I felt like I was having to push her through the door every day, and she was beyond angry. And she was screaming, she was crying, I was crying. And one day the teacher literally snatched my daughter off me and said, go home, Mrs. She said, no wonder your daughter's a mess. And I just felt like, sorry. I felt like I was the worst mother on earth. And beyond that, I went through a real nightmare because I went back to the doctors and he gave me more medication. As if it weren't bad enough the teacher was judging me, I went back to the doctor and he said, oh, let's just get you back on your medication. And I've been 4 years getting off this blaming medication. And I'm no disrespect to doctors, but they do not understand that if you stop and listen to somebody, you can make a difference. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just a few moments of someone's time to say, I hear you. So I think that's where my passion comes from here. But anyway, to cut along, that was a long story, because believe me, the words that came out of my mouth when he said that was beyond. I was screaming at the top of my voice, and I'm sure most of April heard what I said, because I said, for God's sake, stop giving me the medication and tell me what's going on. Because there's something wrong with me, and I want to know what's wrong. Why does this keep happening? And he said, I think you need a break, Dawn. And I'm thinking, yes, someone's listening. And I felt that moment of relief. Someone is actually listening to me. And he was scribbling away on his bit of paper. I don't think he'd even looked at me. I'd already got a prescription in my hand. And he gave me his paperwork. He said, go home. He said, talk to your husband. He said, and come back and see me tomorrow, because I think you need a break. And I thought, thank God he's listening. So I biked myself home. I don't know how I biked home that day, but I did. And a little voice in my head said, oh, he's heard me. I opened the brochure and I landed on the settee. And I thought that was going to be some, lovely self-help tips. But it was the admission forms for Health and Hospital, which is our little mental hospital. And at the bottom, all it needed was my husband's signature. My details were all in there. All it needed was his signature to sign me away. And it said, suggested 3 months sabbatical. I think someone called sabbatical in it. But it's like, in my head, I'm screaming. I'm like, no way on this earth was anyone having my daughter. I didn't trust my husband then anyway. So why would I leave her with him? And so somewhere in this madness, and I would say, listen to that voice in your head. When you hear that voice that says, I need to change this, I'm ready to make a change, act on it. Write it down. Take it out of your head and put it in front of you, because that is evidence that you right now are ready to take that step through a new door. And somewhere in this craziness, I went and made myself sick. So get rid of this medication stuff. I don't want it. Threw every tablet down the toilet. And I would not recommend that, because everything we do works alongside medication. It does need to be worked with your doctor. But somewhere in this craziness in my head, I had a light bulb moment, and I remembered that little bottle of remedy in the cupboard. And I won't tell you how many cupboards I went through to find this bottle, but it was there. And the number of the woman was on the bottom. I'd have never even noticed that before. In 2 years, I've never even noticed the number. How crazy is that? Because when we're stressed, our mind shuts down. But I rang that woman, and about an hour later, I was sitting in her front room, just pouring my heart out. And she just listened. And for the first time in my life, I felt like someone was hearing me. And it wasn't that she said anything. It was the fact that I could just download. I didn't realise I had so much to download. And she just looks up at me, and she walks out the room. And I'm like, oh, what do you do with this then? I just sat there looking around the room and thinking, is this it? And to cut a long story short, she came back and she brought in 2 little boxes of remedies, like this. So I have got my bigger bottles, but I always keep these little ones, because to me, this symbolises everything that changed my life. And she said, Dawn, I think these bottles will help you. I thought, oh, I've heard that before. That's what she said to me originally. And anyway, she did this little muscle testing thing with me. And we'll talk about that another day, because I'm going to do some workshops to help people understand these. But she said to me afterwards, Dawn, there is nothing wrong with you. She said, you've become the victim of your thoughts and what other people have told you you are. And I sat there and looked at her and like, can you say that again, please? She said, there is nothing wrong with you, Dawn. Seriously, nothing wrong with you. She said, you're a good mum. There's no need to feel guilty. You're only doing the best that you can. And I'm like, really? And the little girl inside me just wanted to cry, because nobody had ever told me that I was doing okay. And from that moment, it was quite a journey, believe me, there was a lot of layers to peel away. I started learning about the remedies, I started learning about myself, and this calmness started to come to me. And it's almost like an inner confidence, like someone from inside me came and started to grow, and I didn't know who she was. So that took time to adjust on its own. But I stepped up and started standing up for myself and saying no when I meant no. I won't say I didn't feel guilty about it, but I did step up for a while. Okay, it takes time to adjust. And little by little, I found confidence in myself to tell other people what I was experiencing. Because up to then, I kept it all in here. And I think this is why my passion is to bring people together and say, look, step out of that discomfort zone. Because that discomfort zone is only a result of what you've been thinking. And those layers of thinking have kept you in that space where you're uncomfortable. No, that might not be your story. But as I reached out and started talking to other mums, they said the same. And I'm like, you're struggled as well. How can that be? You didn't tell me. We've been walking up to the shops every day. We've been walking back and forth to the school every day. And not one of you have told me that you had a problem. I thought I was the only one on earth who wasn't coping and was a useless mother. And I thought, why is this world so caught up in the fact that we dare not talk about our feelings? Are we afraid that people will judge us? Afraid of what people will think? Maybe we think we're the only one that's gone through this battle. But that was a turning point for me, because as people start telling me how they're feeling, I found this passion growing inside me. And these little bottles, I'm not joking, if you lived in April, you had a bottle of remedy if you told me you were upset today. And I'm like, okay, I could see something growing inside me, a passion to want to make a difference in people's lives, and realize that there was a good person within me. And that was basically the basis of what I started working with. And I will be honest and say, I was working like this and giving out all these remedies to everybody for about 10 years. And then I got invited to do a wellbeing fair through Carol, who was the lady who initially gave me the remedy. And then someone mentioned about insurance. I'm like, oh, seriously? So for 10 years, I've been working as a practitioner in my mind, helping people and supporting them. And then I stepped in to do the healing fair and was told I had to learn to train and get qualification and insurance. And I'm like, part of me wants to just run like hell. Because for me, school was a nightmare and I could not retain that information. So I got to the point where I didn't think I needed to do anything else. I was just happy with what I'm doing. So that took me through another discomfort zone. But I did get that qualification and I did do that fair. And I met 19 people at that fair. And that was the basis of my business 30 odd years ago. And I've been doing and working with these remedies almost every day since. And the passion for those remedies never changes. Because if someone can understand how they're feeling today, they can turn it around. And the passion for what we're doing here came because I got to a point where there were so many people needed help, I couldn't do it on my own. So I started recommending Suzanne, who's in North Walsham, well, she's off to Italy somewhere today, I think, and Victoria and Vivian and all those people that I knew were good at what they do. And I thought, why can't I bring them together under one roof? And then this place appeared. Initially, we had a small room that became all over the way. And then this room appeared. And all these people started coming through the door. And some beautiful people that I've met, and some of them only recently, some of them over years, all start to come together saying, why can't we work together? And our idea is to bring together more creative ways that people can walk through those doors. So for me, therapy was what I needed. For some people, it might not be the therapy they need. Maybe it's joining up with Sue, who we've got talking about creative art. Maybe it's about needing to do a little bit of dancing. Oh, I'm not going to do it on camera. Maybe it's about, just needing to come and talk to someone. Whatever it is you need right now, take a moment, just think about what would you like to change in your life right now? And then listen to our beautiful speakers today. And at the end of the day, make a choice. What can you do for yourself in the following weeks that is going to move you through this space to a place where you want to be? And I just want to leave you before I hand over to Sue, as with something that Dr. Bark said, and he's the guy who created these beautiful remedies. He said, when there's a void between your thinking and who you should be, is when dis-ease sets in. So I want to leave you with that thought, because whenever you feel that disharmony within yourself, what am I saying to myself that's keeping me in this place of dis-ease in myself? Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, it's not all about me. You know, for me, I'm very blessed that I do have these choices, and I wake up every day. Thank God I've got choices. But what I'd like to do is introduce you to some of our team that are working from here. And there are more of us, and there will be further days beyond this, and pamper days and events. Because I think we all need other people to turn to. And it wasn't until I reached out to this team, I realised that I needed more help. And I'm like, seriously? I thought I was sorted. No, no, no. As you evolve through this journey, more things will come to you for healing, for evolution, for change. Never underestimate the value of what you've been shown today is what you need to change. Because that's you growing into the person you were born to be. So what I'd like to do is introduce Sue, who's bless you. And Sue and I have not known each other very long, have we? No? Would you like to come? Okay. And I will say, if it's okay with you, Sue, we're actually on the camera. Oh gosh, and I've just been told my battery's going to run low, which is not
good.
That's not going to happen. That's all we're going to do. Okay. Okay. So it's no good having the information if you don't use it. Thank you, Jamie. I'm just going to give another. Bear with me. Okay. No, I don't want to close down. Ah, no. Do not. I'm not listening to you. No. Jamie, bear with us for a moment, because my battery just says it wants to close us down. They say listen to the message first. Oh, that's a real shame. Yay, teamwork.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. We weren't plugged in at the wall, Jamie. Would you believe that? That's what we say. When we take away the source, sometimes the mind don't work, does it? Okay. So thank you, Jamie. We're back online. So anyway, if I'd like to introduce Sue. And Sue, first of all, your story and why you're here today.
So my story is I've worked a lot with excluded young people, young mums, as a health trainer in Yarmouth. So I've reached a lot of hard to reach people, and it's always through the art. So I find my passion is running community groups, and using processed art. So I like to bring different materials for people to experiment with, and I find that that's allowing them to go from their left-hand side of the brain into the right-hand side, which is more creative, and you get to connect to yourself. And I think the really important thing I found about groups is the belonging. When people come back every week and you get to trust new people and you get to trust yourself, because you're there as an individual and not all your baggage that you left at the door. So you'll have to excuse me, I'm not very good at talking in front of people. I'm not used to it. So I'm being a bit brave. So I've got an art and wellbeing background because the art brought people together, and it's like I've worked with kids that can't sit in the same room together if they do maths. They would just be horrible to each other, and then you bring the art materials in, and then oh, what's happened? Everyone's nice to each other. They're all talking, civilized, and because of this, I just used to call it magic in the room. Because of this magic, I applied to do a foundation in art and wellbeing to pinpoint what the magic was. And I don't think you can ever pinpoint it to anything, but it's the collective, the synergy of the people that turn up. And I think you always get more than your individual energy, what you put into the group. By coming together and belonging, you get it's magic. So, so I've been lucky enough to bump into Dawn, not knowing that I wanted to do meditation or not. But a week before I met Dawn, I took myself to London. It was a course that said meditation or not, and when I got there, it wasn't really about meditation. But when Dawn came along, I was like, well, if I travelled all the way to London to be interested in learning about meditation or not, and Dawn came and bumped in and offered meditation and art and a studio with windows, just what I was looking for. And so we've held about four weeks.
Yeah.
We've used pastels, paints, pens. So each week it seems like we'd have a different medium or a choice of medium, and Dawn does a meditation. And I am overwhelmed every week of the message that I get, that other people get through Dawn coming up. So all I can say is I recommend it to anyone. Because it is magic.
It's magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've run out of things to say. So if you'd like to ask questions or
Can I come back, John?
yes, please.
So thank you, Sue. No, well done.
And I actually am pushing a lot of the people out of the comfort zone today.
Oh, totally.
And
Yeah.
if anyone had known they were got re-recorded today, I know they wouldn't have turned up, so I didn't tell them. But sometimes we need someone who believes in us a bit more than we believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my gift comes, because I can
Yeah.
see potential in people when they can't see it.
Or too scared to
Yeah.
to step up.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done
Absolutely.
for taking me out of comfort zone again.
Thank you. What we're going to ask is because
Oh yeah.
you know I had this idea, and that was through something that happened in my life. I went to Leeds for a while. I met this lovely lady who's an artist, and she was doing this amazing artwork. And I hadn't done art for years because my headmaster told me I was hopeless and I should be proud of myself because I failed my GCSE art. So I never picked up a pen or crayon after that day. But when I met Tracy, she said about art and we were doing meditation. I said, why don't we bring the two together? So sometimes we have to go really out of our comfort zone, go through the ups and downs of life to get to where we're meant to be. And Tracy and I sat, we did meditation, and then we got someone to create a work of art. And believe me, I was so astounded at there was 12 of us around the table, all the different pieces of art that came out of the same meditation. It was like
And that
giving
is always
everybody.
different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, on that, I will give you all a pen so you can doodle on your books, and then Dawn will possibly pick some to do magic.
So the idea is if you take a moment just to do a little doodle or just something that pops in your head while you're here with us today. And then either myself or one of the other mediums in the room, or maybe yourself sitting there who don't even know you're a medium yet, can tune into that picture and give a message for that person. Because the words we put on our paper are so important. But the energy we're putting on the paper with the colours and shapes is so important as well. We're transferring what's going on in here onto the page, and then we use the art as a medium to understand how you're feeling today. Maybe give you some insight into how you can make changes, which is really powerful. And I love it. I'm just so blessed because this is something I've put off doing for years. Carol and I've done so before, haven't you? And then I put it off again. And I'm a bit of a procrastinator, so I need the remedies quite frequently. But in that space, I'm always blessed that someone is sent into my life who triggers me to make that change. And that's what Sue's done for me. Because if she hadn't come into my life, under resistance, I've got to say, I would not have actually. Sue, do you want to come back in? If Sue hadn't really come into my life, I think I probably would have still been thinking about this project. Right?
Really?
So never underestimate the value of people that you meet. And like Sam, I've got a lovely friend called Sam, came in and gave me this idea about creating this you know, with us doing little talks and demonstrations today. And then Sam, because she got other things going on in her life, couldn't be here. So she just handed the project back to me the same day. And I'm like, seriously? I wasn't ready. But are we ever going to be ready? And that's my question. You're never going to be totally ready for a change, but you step in anyway and make that change. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your talk, and thank you so much, Sue.
Can I just
Thank
ask
you.
you a question?
Yep.
Sue, do you ever do like exhibitions, stuff like that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, with my paper mache stuff. But I think it would be really interesting to have everybody who comes to the group. So because, like Dawn said, they're so different. Everybody's on the same meditation, but everyone comes out with such different things. So I think if we set up like a 6-week course, I imagine, and you do 6 different mediums and 6 meditations, I think that'd be really exciting to have an exhibition of what you create.
I think that'd be great.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
That would be lovely because everyone would be a part of that.
Yes.
And I think,
Yeah.
you know, the fact that we're all working towards a goal.
Yeah. So it's very individual, but as a group thing.
Yeah.
And all the artwork's very individual. And everybody gets their own messages, which is, very
Also
interesting.
to Dawn, you know, because obviously this place has got to be kept up and everything. I'm wondering, could we also do an art exhibition so the public can come and have some paintings for sale? So, you know, some to put some money into this place as well.
Okay, that's a
I
good
mean,
idea.
that, because I'm an artist as well as, you know, so I've been willing to do that. So it's not just looking, so that also involving, you know, the public.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
that is
also
what-
interested in working with other people, run on art groups. I like the process of bringing the mediums in
Yes.
and just people getting into it rather than the finished product.
And Sue is probably going to be really happy now because I think the video thing has failed. How exciting is that? Okay, I say, they say don't wait until you get perfect. Sue, come back here. This is Sue. He was just talking. Okay. So you know, sometimes, and I will say this, and it's really important, we can put the barriers up ourselves and prevent things from happening.
Yeah.
When you said to me, I don't want this, I didn't even think to check that you were on the video.
Good.
So you got what you asked for.
Yes.
But is it going to lead you forward, Sue?
I'm just impressed that I turned up today.
I am so impressed. But just food for thought, everybody, because we can all put barriers up and look at things that
And
we could be doing.
I suppose it's difficult for me because I always backed out of this kind of stuff.
Well done.
Yeah.
I would run. So well done, Dawn, for
Yeah.
getting me here.
Well done, Sue. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, what we're going to do is allow a little bit of quiet time, right? And this is like reflection time as much as it is someone's going to be talking to you. I want to invite Lynn to come and share a lovely meditation with us. Really? Because for me, meditation is one of those spaces I can go to and think about nothing. Would you like to come join us, Lynn?
I'm going to have to read from the script because I've got sponsoring Sue.
Well done. Okay, but we're not actually met each other, have we? 2 weeks? 2 weeks and 2 weeks?
Yes, I think it is 2 weeks.
And I would say always, I go back to what I said earlier, take note of the people that sent into your life.
It was this room, wasn't it?
It was this room.
Yeah.
Lynn came looking for a room to rent. And I was in that moment of like, oh, I don't know if I can cope with all this. I want to throw it in the towel. And Rob, who runs the building, said, oh no, a lady who wants to share a room.
Yeah.
Hence the reason I said it again. So thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. And I just realised I forgot my glasses, so 2 seconds. I'll read it out.
Okay, yes, good point. Our lovely friend over here, Jessica, is going to take some photos for us. Is it okay if we include from the audience in there from there? Yeah. Okay. Because we want to use these for promoting what we're going to do. Because ultimately we have to put into some funding to help get this place running. But the more people who can help you be a part of it,
Yeah.
I think it will show the diversity of people that are here.
Mhm.
And interesting enough, looking around the room, they're all girls, all ladies. Where are the guys who want to make changes? Hold that
Good
thought.
question.
Thank you. Thank you then.
So I've only got 10 minutes, and to do a meditation and talk a little bit about myself was like quite limited, so hence why I had to write it all down. So I trained as a counsellor a few years back, and meditation became a big part of the course. And I made some amazing friends on that course, and one of them introduced me to a meditation group. This was just what I needed, as meditation had been something I've tried to learn on and off for many years, but kept giving up as I was never able to fully silence my mind. Instead of imagining myself walking through fields, taking the beautiful imagery being described to me, my mind would be wandering and I'd be making a list of what I needed from the shops. I soon learned that it was okay to have these thoughts, because nobody can silence the mind completely. You just have to let the thought go and send it on its way. This led me to further my studies, and I have recently completed my training to be a meditation teacher. The training was so informative. I learned about the different styles of meditation, the history behind it, their health benefits, and how it can improve your everyday life. So I'm going to tell you a little about my meditation journey. As I said, I have practiced on and off, but it wasn't until my training that I committed to 30 minutes meditation every day for 8 weeks. This was mandatory to the course. So every night I did just that. It soon became a habit. I would go to bed, put my headphones on, and fall asleep during the meditation, waking up the next day feeling a little better than the day before. After a few weeks, I stopped falling asleep and was able to complete the whole meditation. I would sleep deeply and started waking up at the same time every morning. This was new to me. I was not a morning person and would often have difficulties sleeping or getting to sleep and staying asleep. I started feeling different. I felt more connected with myself, first and foremost. I'm thinking, feeling and sharing in a way I didn't before. I've always felt I was a kind and compassionate person and treated other people well. But I feel through meditation that intensified. I became grateful to the littler things. Meditation has taken away my anger and frustrations, or is it that my daily practice has changed the way I think? I also feel connected with nature, and I feel I have a new gratitude towards life. For me, meditation has become like a drug. It makes me feel better within myself and leaves me ready for the next fix. I'm planning on setting up a variety of meditation groups. An area I've become increasingly interested in is how meditation can help with menopause. I'm of an age where all my friends are talking about it, discussing their endless list of symptoms. It's 34 and it probably will grow. Someone who I'm very close to told me she wanted to give up and end her life. She felt lost, confused, and hated herself. I didn't know who she was anymore. She is now medicated and feeling better. But what if meditation was introduced as part of her recovery? There are many health benefits to meditating, such as improving sleep, lowering blood pressure, scientifically reducing stress and anxiety, improving PMT symptoms, improving concentration, weight loss, and addiction. There is also scientific studies that changes within the brain are happening when people meditate. If meditation was a daily practice in schools, prisons, workplaces, and the NHS, can you imagine the impact that would have on the world and the environment around us? Reconnecting the world in a way in which we all live in peace and harmony. It's a beautiful thought, but with that I understand everyone's experience of meditation is unique to the individual. You get out of it what you put in. But one thing I do know is that meditation is as important for the brain as exercises for the body. So that's a little bit. So now with that, I'm going to do a little meditation with you. First thing you think. So you all want to get comfy in your chair. Keeping your spine straight and placing your feet firmly on the ground. And when you are ready, gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out, following your own natural rhythm. Breathing in and out, just let the rest of the world fade away. And begin by relaxing all the muscles in your face. And gently lowering your jaw as you relax the muscles in your face. Feel the relaxation spreading down your neck. You're feeling more and more comfortable and more relaxed. Feel the relaxation spreading down into your shoulders, all the way down your arms, to your elbows, forearms, your wrists, hands, going right down to the tips of your fingers. Feeling more and more comfortable and more relaxed. Now allow the relaxation to spread down into your chest. Take a deep breath as you breathe out. Feel the chest muscles relax. Feel the relaxation spreading down your back. All the way down to the base of your spine. Feeling more and more comfortable, more relaxed. Allow the relaxation to spread into your thighs. Down into your knees. Your calves, and moving into your ankles. To your feet, all the way down, tips of your toes. Feeling more and more relaxed and more comfortable. Now imagine a hot air balloon in front of you. Seeing this balloon in front of you, what colour is your balloon? Make the balloon big and powerful. Imagine the sounds the balloon is making as it gets ready to take off. Attached to the balloon is a large basket. The ropes are holding the balloon down on the ground. Now place into the basket all the things in life that are worrying you. Place everything into the basket that's causing you stress and anxiety. All of your problems in that basket, however big or small, throw them in. It's a very big basket. It can hold whatever you need to put in there. Place all that troubles you in there now. And when you are ready, release the ropes holding the balloon down. Step back and watch as the balloon begins to rise into the air. Watch it rise up slowly. Higher and higher into the sky. Watch as all your troubles are floating away the balloon starts to become smaller and smaller as it rises higher and higher. Until it reaches the horizon and slowly disappears, taking with it all of the things that have been weighing you down. They've gone, disappeared like the hot air balloon over the horizon. So in this moment, you can be free. You can feel calm, relaxed, happy. You have let go of all that stresses and troubles, all your stress and trouble. So in this moment, you are free. Free to fill your mind with happier thoughts. With the thought that all is well. Because in this moment, right now, all is well. Meditation is the art of living in the moment. So as we learn to let go of things of the past, things we cannot do anything about, and learn to stop worrying about the future, we learn to just be. We learn to live in the moment and to realise that this moment is the only moment we have. And now gently letting go of the image of the balloon, bring your attention back into this moment, feeling calm and relaxed. And keeping this feeling of calm with you and taking it with you into the rest of the day. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room, into the present moment, taking a few deep breaths and maybe a little stretch too.
It's fun. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Really? Let me do it for that. Oh no, okay, that's it. No, today is a great example. Yeah. You just give them people, even if you didn't feel like you could do that. Never wait till you're comfortable doing something to make a change in someone's life. Because that person sitting in his chair, I don't know everyone's story, but that could be the trigger to make them happen. So well done. Thank you. Thank you, then. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was one of the nicest meditations I've had. Because I'm dreadful because my brain doesn't stay on meditation. But I found that really easy to visualise and things that didn't seem to like interfere with it. So that was really lovely.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
And that might be a good time now to start just doing one. You've got little ideas coming on.
I'm going to say this as we're doing this because art is something very unique to everybody. Remember that it's the energy you're putting on the paper. It's never better or worse than anyone else's. It's exactly what it's meant to be. And as you just do that, I'm going to just ask Carol if she'd like to come up and start preparing, because Carol is going to introduce us to something that is so beneficial. I think we all need a little bit of Carol's touch, because she works with Indian head massage and Reiki. What? Indian head massage. So I'm not going to go there. I want Carol to explain it because, Carol's putting her energy into this. And if I explain it, that's my experience. I think that's, each person, although I know that Indian head massage and Reiki is really beneficial, each person who has that experience will have their own experience. And that's why, if you're enthusiastic about something, go and tell somebody. If you're not sure what you've experienced, please go back to the therapist or the person that you're working with and ask them to help you understand what it is you're experiencing if you're not comfortable. Because for every therapy, every art workshop, every meditation that we do, sometimes it can bring things to the surface that we hadn't seen sitting there. And that can be a little bit alarming. You're not certain what you're experiencing. Always go back to the person who gave you the service and support to talk it through, because that will lead you to the next step. Don't go home and just go, oh, didn't like that, and then run away from it, because what's come up is probably important for you to go to that next step. And together you can work it through. Right. Thank you. So we have Carol. Yeah, would you like to say that? Yeah, would you like to say that? Is that okay? I think Carol is going to discreetly try and get out of the camera. No. I can see myself. Okay. Let's watch the camera. I think I've got quite thick hair, so right, okay. All right. So, sorry, I didn't even introduce you in these. Okay. Okay, or would someone else like to come have an example of Indian head massage and how it works? I'll be a guinea pig. You would? Okay, thanks, Lee. Well done, Lou. I'll just do it. Stand up to start with. Okay. So if I could just take a seat. Take a seat. Okay, thanks, Lee. Thank you very much. Carol and I have worked together over the years. About 13, 14 years ago, we started working together. And yeah, we started with this idea of bringing things together as collaborating with people, because you had the centre in Gloucester. Yes. Then we came here and started working on building our team. And I'm just so grateful to be working so with us. Me too. Thank you. It's been a journey. Yeah. That's not what we always called it, was it? But it's been an exciting journey. But thank you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, now you're all chilled now. So what I do is the nice things. A lot of people come to Full Dawn who are really sad and whatever. And sometimes people just like to be touched. That people forget the value of touch and everything.
Sure.
And Indian head is really good for that, because you don't need to undress, you can sit down, you don't have to lay down, and it's a really fantastic therapy. And also you can associate with, you could have counselling and Indian head as well. They all correspond with each other. I'll just read it because I'm not very good. I'm pre-menopausal brain, I forget. And I've got a list here of roughly what it's all about. Right, Indian head massage is what's called shampoosage. It features in the earliest Vedic texts, which date back nearly 4,000 years. The word shampoo comes from the Hindi word shampi, meaning massage of the head. Regular head massage is really good for your hair, very good condition of your hair. And also the Indian families, the ladies used to go behind each other and massage each other's heads, because they've got lovely hair, haven't they, Indian ladies, beautiful long hair. And that's a way of keeping it really nice and moist with lovely oils as well. You don't have to use oils either. And I've been doing Indian head for over 20 years now. I trained at Lowestoft College, and that was part-time. I had a full-time job then, but at James Paget Hospital, which I still am. I'm a graphic designer there. But I knew that I wanted to do holistic therapies. I don't know how people get into it. They just do. You just fall into these things. And I just knew. And in 2000, a long time ago, year 2000, I qualified in massage, full body massage. I can't really do that now because I've got a bad back, and it's really bad for your arms as well as you get older. But Indian head is really good because it gives all the benefits without the really hard, deep massage you have to do. And this lovely person here has decided to be my, not guinea pig, but yeah. Well, Indian head massage is not just for the head, it's the up, back, shoulders, neck, face and head. And most of the time I do it sitting down because that's the easiest way. And the massage is the upper back. And if you stand up one moment and just turn around, the massage starts, you rub the back really vigorously, get it nice and warm. And also you do the sitting down. And the massage starts with fingers here, going around the rib cage and everything. And most people get knots here. You can feel it, can actually feel it. It's like a pinging sensation. And you gently rub with your fingers until it disperses. It's just the salt and the acid in the muscles that accumulates if you do a lot of lifting. Computers are worst nightmare. You're like this all the time, hunched over, and you don't even realise. And do you do any computer work or anything like that?
No, but my whole time is.
Yeah, well, yes. Always ask before you do anything their medical history. That you have to do a medical consultation form, so you don't just go ahead and do it. And yes, you just massage here, massage and do the other side, and then you do the shoulders. Using your thumbs, find any hard bits. That side and that side. This is very quick. It takes half an hour, so I can't do it really quickly. You just basically massage, find any lumpy bits, and just massage them out. And then the person sits down. And before you start, you always put your hands on their shoulders very lightly. Just ask if that's okay, and that's just to balance them, keep them nice and relaxed, and ask them to do 3 deep breaths as well. That helps to relax them as well. But most of the time, people get into the zone anyway. They feel, as soon as they sit down, they feel relaxed because they know that they're going to have a good time. And also, I do Reiki as well. Has everyone heard of Reiki? Yeah. As soon as you touch a person, the Reiki energy goes through. It's universal energy. You find it in the world, plants. Everyone's got it. Everyone's got an innate healing ability. And when you get attuned to Reiki by a Reiki master, it sort of unlocks it, and it can flow through the other person, makes them really relax, and they feel lovely warmth going through. And I just put my hands on there and just calm them down. Indian head is also to do with the face massage and acupressure points as well. And you've got on the back of your head is called the sagittal suture. It's when you were born, your skull doesn't fuse straight away. It's so your brain can actually grow after you're born, and it's down here. It's down top and to the side here, and you just gently press it when you go down. It actually does fuse when you're about 39 in the end, but when you're saying you're 25, it's still apart. It's still, but I don't know whether you can remember skulls that you put like sort of a join. It's like that. That is your sagittal. I can't say it. Sagittal suture, and that's an acupressure point. And you just go like that, and go like that a few times. Obviously, you massage as well. You put your hands on here, and you massage gently the person's. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
You gently massage the person's neck. People love this. And when I was learning at college, we had to watch the tutor. We had to do it hundreds of times before we get qualified. And you used to see the people who'd been out the night before, and they're going like that because they're sort of hypnotised. And my brother came with me. He was my partner in crime, because you have to bring a person along to practice on. And another thing is the face massage, and you just gently. I'm a very gentle person, I've been told, so I always do everything gently. And this is just for the acupressure points on the face and cheeks. There's acupressure points all over your body. There's the roof of your mouth have got them, your hands, your feet, and your face and your head, obviously. And then you just gently tap. Sorry, you can't see over there. There's a big muscle from your jaw up to your ears, which can get, when you're stressed, you go like that, you grit your teeth, and you don't even know you're doing it. And people grind their teeth as well, and it's just a way of relaxing those muscles. Just going around the eyes.
We should never go up there.
I said I've done these hundreds and hundreds of times, and I still love it, because you get it the relaxation as well, because you're giving it to the person, and you're relaxing yourself, and you get the goosies as well when you do people. The Reiki goes through as well. There's also acupressure points in your ears as well, and you gently massage the ears. You're meant to take the earrings out, but you just massage the acupressure points of your ears. Just gently pull them. And you just finish off again. So that takes usually about half an hour to get to the end. And then just calm them down. And then you do your head. Just give them a good rub. It's all very quiet. So this is really good for your blood circulation as well throughout your body, because it all goes through to your brain and your head with blood. You get the tips of your fingers, and you gently massage around I know if people have their hair done at the hairdressers and they say, do you want a head massage? I go, yes, thank you. But it's a lot more involved than the ones at the hairdressers. Just move around like that. And there's various other massage techniques that you do, but I haven't got the time to show you. But these are the best bits. And just tap at the very end, you just tap the person's head just to bring them round, because a lot of the time they're so relaxed when I'm doing their head. I can see their head going like that, and they're heavy, and it's surprising how heavy a person's head is when you're holding it, and you have to gently wake them up. Just calm them down. And keep energy up. And you just rest them on the person's shoulders. And you should give them a little bit of Reiki at the end as well. So, which I love as well. And the person is calm and floats out the door. Just make sure they're grounded at the end.
Yeah, good, thank you. Ready for bed now.
We also can check their chakras as well. Most people know what chakras are, don't they? See how they are. That's the crown chakra. That connects you to your higher self. And that's always open because it's your connection to universal energy. And third eye is just between the two, between your eyebrows. And it's left and right, or circular. Circular is my yes, back and forth is my no. That doesn't mean there's nothing wrong. It just means that the energy in that chakra is a little bit depleted. It's deciding yes or no. It doesn't quite know what it wants at the moment. And you've got the throat chakra, which is here. You need to speak your truth. It doesn't mean there's nothing wrong. It's just an indication, because crystals are made up of the same molecular structure as your body. So it gets in tune with them. Heart chakra. That's a little bit sharp, but it's okay. I said you've got a crystal in front of you as well, which can alter it. And it's a sacral chakra, which is just below your, just above your belly button. Right, it's a little bit shut as well, and the sacral. That's your personal power. Root chakra. That's if you're grounded. If you feel a bit lightheaded, it can be a little bit open. Shut rather. That's okay. Right. And these can be an indication of support in your life. You've got good support around you, but it can also pick up if someone's got like a false knee, metal. It actually picks up that it's not a natural thing, and which is amazing, really. You see that? That's a yes. That's a no. So you've got male and female sides of your body as well. Look up on that. Then you ground a person, just ground it to the earth. You can align chakras by using crystals and Reiki as well, and whatever. But no, I just love what I do. I still work part-time at the James Project because I love art. I love creating things. I love painting, as you know. And me and Dawn, we've been going on quite a long time now, and it's been a journey. But I think we've put roots down now, haven't we? And I really hope that all of us can work together and be one big happy family.
That's
So
it.
thank you very much.
Lee, have you got some water now? Have you got some water? No. Okay, let's get the water. Thanks, Carol. Thank you, Carol. Oh, sorry. I will say, out of all of this, I've never said it at the beginning, please drink plenty of water. Because as you're learning, your mind sometimes tries to process it and stress your head a little bit. Drinking water helps to bring things back in balance. And you know, when you're stressed, you get dehydrated. So there is some water over there if anyone needs it. All right. So thank you very much, Carol. That was really lovely. I think we all wish that we'd stepped up there. Okay. Lesson next time. Make sure that you get what you need. Well done, Lee. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Right. So the next lady that we've got to come to share with.
Well, we're just wondering, would people like to have a break? Please, yes, this is a lot.
Want to have a break now?
Maybe a short break and then I can start.
Yes. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, just to move.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got to have a little break now, Jamie. Yeah, then we'll come back in a minute. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's still a studio way of getting I'm getting on what you do. Yes, I guess. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, yeah. Some people just wrestle like that, like me. Right. You know, just having a finger touching you, they can know like the sensation as well. Certainly not college way, but
Yeah, thank you. It's lovely, isn't it? So it's one of those old-fashioned radios, but it's iPhone. Yeah, it's like updated. So it's the old-fashioned radio updated, and then you can just.
they should do that.
Thank you. That would be a great thing, 'cause I was looking at the thing and thinking.
Yes. No, but it's like in terms of time. I mean, yeah,
They did.
perfect.
Yeah. I had to do that. That's right. I don't want
That's 2,000.
59 this year. So, yeah, 23 years. 58. Yes, yeah.
Oh, I did that really tough one. And that was when we used to have to wear these white coats, white dresses, and cool shoes to do the speech. Shows how long ago. I found it fascinating, but I can't do
A while since I've done it.
Yeah, please. You know, like, because I don't understand right as well, so I just do Indian dip now. It's great, just sit down there. You have to, you have to be like that. Oh, come on, well, what's his name? Because you've got to be careful because of his hip as well. They'll be up
So you're going to do something regularly soon.
Well, we're going to do one workshop, 20, we sort of changed it in terms of just getting people together. So we're going to do something on the 23rd.
So is it during the day?
23rd.
21st.
Saturday, 4:30 to 6.
Yeah, I'll write it down. Yeah. The house.
Lots of people in one go, get one money together.
Yeah. I try to take a shower as well.
Helen, it's a Thursday, isn't it?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, help yourself to Christmas.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, whatever you want.
I've been watching it for years. Saturday, 23rd.
Amazing. And when you did that thing, like, you've got people love it. Love it. really interesting what you did with the chakra. That's quite an indication of where you may so it's kind of like most
You want
yeah, like again.
I went part-time to do it.
You've got family.
I have done children, but my partner's got dementia, so I have to look after her. No, she's okay. She's at the other side, just up here. So it's quite a way to take Not elderly dad as well. You get your kids when you get older. I just she's so kind.
I was like, in the midst of a transition period from what I've been doing, that career, I just don't know where to place myself. Interested in someone.
He's only such a fast
They could go
So much.
getting people to come.
Then someone about that.
Yes.
So
Oh,
yeah, it's the other thing is also now I have
And I feel more than people now. I've managed three. Whereas they will yeah, no, I think no, I what's that thing like?
Oh, that's fine. Oh, I'm sorry. Just feels in pockets.
Hello, everybody. Are you ready? Everybody's back. I think everybody's back. Who needs to be here? Oh, okay. Okay. So we're just well, we're just waiting for Kettle to work. No, I had that one before. Please, when you're ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll just stand there at each other. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, should we record it today? Sylvia, is that okay?
Excuse me?
Is it okay to record?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so thank you, everybody. And now we're going to kind of step things up a little bit and liven it up a bit, because to me, therapy isn't just about listening and things like that. I think I've shared, how many is there, 3, 4 sessions now with Helen and Victoria, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but she is part of our group. And honestly, I didn't realise till I started doing this dance movement thing, I tend to be a little bit restricted in myself. I tend to be a little bit like reserved, and that's for you, and this is not for me. It wasn't until I started doing these dance movement things and freeing up my body, I realised how much anger I still had in me. And I was shocked that I actually sat in a session one day and suddenly I just want to explode. And sometimes we don't know what's very deep inside us.
Yeah.
And dance movement, which Helen has introduced me to, has actually freed me up to actually go and speak to people that I've actually put a lid on. But I didn't know that I was even upset about those issues. And sometimes we do. Our body is so trapped with these emotions, and they're sitting somewhere within us, and then we keep getting triggered somewhere down the road by something someone says.
Mm.
And it's not their fault. It's because we haven't resolved those issues. So thank you so much for sharing, Helen.
Thank you. And on that point, I think there's a growing awareness of embodied movement and using the body as a tool for therapy, for self-expression. It's sort of dawning into consciousness. But think about it, people have danced, you know, back in history, everybody danced to celebrate, danced to mourn, danced in every stage of life. And it does seem in the world as it is now, the opportunities to dance have become less. And I feel, for me, I feel the poorer for it, that I had to go and seek out dance classes, seek out workshops. So thank you. And I feel very privileged to be here. I was talking with Dawn, who I've met through the wonderful Suzanne, who's in North Walsham, who some of you may know. We've done a few workshops together. And a workshop here. And it emerged talking with Dawn about the space. And I mean, I'm always looking for places to dance. And we just started talking about dance, which is wonderful. And then I'd met Victoria. Victoria is such a great dancer that she can't be here today because she's rehearsing for a dance performance next weekend, isn't it? At the St. George's. If you have a free moment next Saturday afternoon, I think she's going to be on stage then. Anyway, so I'll just be talking for myself now, but we've talked about doing workshops together, Victoria and myself. And Victoria, who you met, some of you have met already.
Thank you, Helen.
So thank you. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Like everybody else, I've had to have some notes to make sure that I say all the things that I want to cover. So to say a little bit about my dance history, dance in its different forms has been what I think is actually a constant friend in my life. Thinking back to when I was my teenage years, which, as for everybody, it's a difficult time. I found a voice through dance. My mother passed away when I was 16, and dance gave me solace. I would go there after school, and I lived in Cape Town in South Africa in the 80s, the time of flash dance, and there was this wonderful jazz art in downtown in Cape Town, in a warehouse downtown with incredibly inspiring teachers. So we would dance to Careless Whisper by George Michael and dance around. It was incredible. As well as doing really quite sort of avant-garde contemporary work, just beautiful. It really, really touched me on levels that I hadn't really expressed before. So yeah, that was a highlights of my dancing. Also been Pineapple. You may know Pineapple in London. Also was originally a warehouse for pineapples, which is why it's called Pineapple. And I've had an amazing teacher there. I mean, it's all about teachers, isn't it? When you look back, incredible teachers who've inspired you. So wonderful teacher there, Karen Estabrook, who I did commercial jazz with for many, many years. And she would take sort of the latest hits and then we'd dance to it. And there was something about, because she's the same era as me, maybe the sort of the flash dance expression that I just really loved. And since being in Norwich, I've been doing ballet classes with an ex-Royal Ballet dancer here, she's just beautiful, beautiful dancer, really lovely and inspiring. But this is all structured dancing, choreographed dancing, dance classes like, and is that dance? That's what a lot of people think dance is. You've got to be a dancer, you've got to have done ballet from when you were 3, otherwise you can't dance. And I mean, of course, that's nonsense, everybody can dance. In the summer of 2019, I work as a publisher, editor, spend a lot of time on my computer. And that summer I thought, I really want to dance. I found out about a week of dance at Findhorn. Have you heard of Findhorn?
Yes.
It's in Scotland. It's an incredible community that started up in the 60s, and it's just grown and grown. It's very international, very forward thinking. Anyway, they were doing a week of dance in their beautiful Universal Hall. So I went there thinking that would be amazing to have a week of dance, only dancing, you know, nothing else. It's like a dream. So I went there, and it was quite transformative for me, because I started off there just to dance, and then I experienced the dance as a tool into something else, into a different, touching places in myself, and things coming out that, you know, sort of expressing itself. Can't really put words into this, but it gave me insights into the world, and it sort of inspired me about embodied movement and about the world of conscious dance. Unstructured, unchoreographed, free expression. Using dance as a tool to explore the psyche and get in touch with soul. So I looked into and started going to lots of, it's been quite a sort of passion of mine. I've done lots and lots of workshops in London, so just to kind of give an example of some of the things I've done. So 5 Rhythms, I'm sure many of you have heard of 5 Rhythms, where you dance in an unstructured way through the 5 waves of movement, from flowing to staccato to chaos to lyrical to stillness. That's one way. And I think 5 Rhythms are fine. They're great. Depends very much on the teacher. It's nice. I've done 2 immersions, week immersions of Open Floor, which is sort of bringing together almost like an umbrella of 5 Rhythms and all sorts of different embodied movement. And we did 1 week in Findhorn, back in Findhorn last year, and a week in northern Spain in May. And if I was to sort of explain, like my overarching experience of that is dance is therapy, which, you know, is very interesting. I've done 2 or 3 weekend workshops with somebody called Helen Poyner, who is very well known in the performance world. You move outside with trees, so go into woods, and we're all moving around trees on our own for sort of an hour or 2, and quite incredible. So in the woods, and then being out in the sea on the coast, and then sort of tapping into wildness. It was really quite an amazing experience. Some of you may have heard of Linda Hartley. She does authentic movements. I've done some workshops with her, which, if I'm honest, I haven't been so inspired by, because there's no music. You close your eyes and you just move. And try not to bump into anybody else. So, you know, that was interesting. It wasn't as inspiring for me. I'll now talk quickly about 2 things that have really inspired me. At the start of this year, I did a workshop with Move Dance Feel. It's an introductory workshop where she's getting different dance practitioners and healthcare practitioners together. She wants to develop practitioner training in basically dance for cancer care, which I feel is super powerful. And her name escapes me right now, but she is incredible. Dance background, research background, speaking to the right people, funding expert, totally inspirational, about how to build groups of people as well, building community around this. And I think that her method and her way of working with people, I feel, was absolutely spot on. Like building communities of people who are suffering from cancer, or who have suffered from cancer, or have been affected by cancer in some way, and using dance as a solace, but a community building, and yeah, really, really, really powerful. So she is hopefully going to be doing some practitioner training, which I would love to do, because if I, that's an area I'm really interested to explore. Something else that has been very, very powerful for me, and this is since 2006, is have you heard of systemic constellations work or family constellations? And I've done quite a lot on my own healing journey, quite a lot of family constellations workshops in South Africa, in London, in Spain, with all sorts of different people, including Judith Hemming, who's quite a sort of a key person here in England. And I feel that that's really powerful. And since 2017, Tanya Mayberg, she's an amazing constellator, and Sean Palmer have joined together to do ancestral connections, which is using systemic constellations work and dance, movement therapy, and melding those together. And I found that incredibly powerful, tapping into the resources, the strength that we've got from our ancestral lineage, and really honoring it, and how we can do that through dance is amazing. So I've done some really amazing work with them, which has really touched me and supported me. In October, I'm going to be doing a workshop with, not sure if you've heard of Dan van der Kamp. He does ritual work, so also sort of tapping into, I suppose it's slightly shamanic, but I'm interested to see how that could also be woven into dance. And there's so much that you can do with dance. Dance can encompass so many things. So the sort of workshops, if I was to sort of devise a dream workshop, it's encompassing all of these things. It's not 5 rhythms where you have to follow a structured thing. It's very encompassing, very much tuning into the people who are there, what they need, what emerges out of the group, and working with that. And that's something Victoria and I have spoken about a lot, and we're very much of the same mind with that, sort of going with the flow of having these as a toolkit, and then going with the flow to enjoy the moment, really. So I've got some points here where I've written down, why dance? So what is it about dance? For me, dance is a doorway into another realm, the realm of the soul, it's another realm. It's an opportunity to be instead of doing. And I feel, for me, so much of my life is about doing. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly thinking about what I want to do next. And so maybe it's just for me, but it's a time to just sort of slow down and be very much in the present moment. An opportunity for me to express my individuality and to celebrate it, to really celebrate being me, and to tune into flow, to tune into just the energy that is. And there is no right or wrong in dance, which is different from obviously going to a ballet class. And I think lots of people have had bad experiences with their ballet teacher saying, it's not like this, it's like that. And I think it has put people off dance. But for me, in dance, there's no right or wrong. Whatever you do is just absolutely perfect. And in what we're going to be doing in a moment, I'd like to invite you to focus on what your movements feel like rather than what they look like. It really doesn't matter what they look like. It's what it feels like for you, coming from I find one of my inspirational teachers told me, and this has always stayed with me, that everything's coming from your core. So every movement coming from your core, and just sort of thinking about that, whether you're moving your arm, you're not just moving your arm, you're moving your arm from your core, and it's such a different feeling. I feel that dance is an opportunity to play, to tap back into the playground and having fun, to be light-hearted, but also to allow the heaviness. When you think about children when they're playing, they can be having an amazing time, and then suddenly somebody's screaming and crying and it's dreadful, and then they're laughing again and it's all fine. And it's just that sort of free flow of energy, which we can do in the dance floor. You can have that fun. You can, nothing needs to be stuck. It can just keep flowing, and the emotions, allowing those emotions to flow through you, so that, yeah, in life we sort of get stuck in sadness, or get stuck in, I must be happy, or I was happy but now I'm not, oh dear, you know, instead of it just being, it's just flowing. And for me, I feel that music and movement operate in a different realm where time can be experienced differently. So time takes on a different dimension for me. Really helps me to bring focus into the present moment, away from the past, the future, away from doing. It's all about being and enjoying. My last word on this, it sounds a little bit pretentious, but I'm going to say it anyway. Dance is an opportunity to enter into the language of the soul. I mean, it sounds so pretentious, but it's, that's it. What an opportunity. What an opportunity. So now we're going to do a short activity. I would like to invite you to stand up to do it. But if you, for whatever reason, do not feel, you can sit down, but you will be moving. I will invite you to move your hands. If you choose to move any other parts of your body, that is absolutely your choice. I'm sure I will be. But to use your hands to follow the music. So to be inspired by the music. I've got a beautiful piece of music. It's by Oliver Arnolds. I probably haven't said his name correctly. It's modern classical. The name is Reminiscence. And if you want, I can share the track with you later. In this track, there is piano, there's violin, there's something called, I looked it up this morning, violin cello. I thought it was a cello, but it's a violin cello. There's also viola. So you'll hear them. You may want to follow the cello, and then maybe the piano will capture your interest. So then follow that. Follow whatever takes your interest, but there are various sort of elements of the music that you can be following. So to be using your hands, the theme is to expand and contract. So this is expansion. This is contraction. And I will be asking you to dial it up. So sort of when it's dialed down, it's like that, but then getting big and get big, you can really feel the energy. So totally up to you. However you want to do this, remember it's what it feels like. So the focus is on your feeling, the focus is on enjoying and just having fun. Right. Oh, this has gone off, sorry. So keep it small, with just your hands, whatever you want it to be. Follow the piano. There's 2 pianos here, so you can choose one of the pianos to follow. Now the violins come in, you can follow the violin if you want to. if you feel comfortable, just enjoy anytime. This must be 5-inch shadow. If you want to close your eyes, helps you tune into it. I hope you enjoyed that.
Beautiful music.
Oh, so moving. Wow.
So moving.
So moving. Wow.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
And everybody for joining in.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
I'm not going to have to do anything.
I'm going to share. I'll share the link for that on
That's
the
so
chat.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That was gorgeous. Thank you.
because he does some other really beautiful music on the WhatsApp. Yeah.
And so beautiful.
We have actually recorded that. What I'm going to do before I put it out to anyone, I'll send you all a link. You'll all just send me your email address, because I think it's only fair that people know that they're within this, and I would never share something that people are not comfortable with. For most of the video, I've kept it on Helen, but we did have a quick flick around the room.
Yeah.
Because, you know, to see your energies changing when that was happening was, wow. And you're all smiling. So well done, everybody. Lovely. Thank you. So now we have a really special treat with Sylvie is going to come and talk to us about graphology.
I thought we were going to have another break.
No, there's no getting away from this one. No, Sylvie and I have known each other for about, I think we're trying to work out about 25,
Well
30
over
years.
30 years.
Yeah, a long while. And our journey has been very up and down, and we've met and we've come together, gone apart from each other. But we keep being brought back together. And I'm just so grateful that she's come back to us at this moment, because she has been one of my kind of backup driving forces. Because when you're on a journey and you make your mind up to do something, am I the only one that notices that all the obstacles and all the emotions in the world come up? Or is it just me? No, I think we all go through that, don't we? Because when we're moving ourselves into that higher state of consciousness, where we're moving with the flow of who we're meant to be, all of these old patterns come up, because we are meant to change those to enable us to move to the next step. So I would say as Sylvie's preparing herself, just gently think to yourself as you're evolving, you've gone up an escalator, you can see a better view of the world. And that's why it's come up to say, do you take this forward with you, or do you leave it behind at the bottom of the escalator? Do you heal it and let it be? Or are you going to carry those grudges and those resentments and those feeling not good about yourself and blaming yourself as you walk into that next step? That's when you have a choice. Oh, thank you, thank you. And it's in that choice when we take those stepping stones, and they're not always going to be comfortable. But something that Sylvie does when she's ready in a moment, she's just handing out some leaflets as she helps you to understand the patterns that we get caught up in. Patterns of your behaviour that maybe we need to address that we don't want to look at. Because those patterns are there for you to help you to understand who you are. If we get stuck in that negative aspect of things, it keeps repeating until we learn the lesson, and we cannot often get beyond that because we keep focusing on it. So with Sylvie's wisdom, if she's coming, she will get him eventually. Okay. When we get to that point of coming into conscious awareness that what we're experiencing. Ladies, are you okay? Okay. So we'll come into a conscious awareness of that what we're thinking doesn't help us. It's worth connecting to someone like Sylvie, who can help you see beyond what you think you are experiencing. Is that about right, Sylvie?
Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
I've learned that over 30 years.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about, how to put across what you help with people, because that is so in depth that sometimes we can't touch those things.
No. No.
But this is still program, and I'm just so privileged to be working inside.
I'm privileged to know Dawn. She touched my soul very deeply when I was in my 40s in a gay relationship where I thought this woman was absolutely the love of my life, and I tried for 15 years to make her happy. I used to hit absolute rock bottom because she was totally narcissistic, bless her, but I thought, Sylvie, if you try harder, you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And I realised after 15 years I couldn't do it. But I come from quite a traumatic childhood, but very privileged materially. So I was born in Paris, didn't speak a word of English when I came to this country. I did tell a few of you the other day, so I don't want to be boring. I learned at a very young age that fear had to be overcome. My dad was so rich, he was allowed to have a gun. So whenever he lost his temper, he didn't just shout, he used to go and get his gun. 9 years old, my brother and I get in a lift, wondered why my grandmother was crying. It's quite, I don't reveal this to many people because obviously my work is to help people. So I listen. And we were in that lift and wondered why my grandmother was crying. The reason she was crying is she knew my mother was running away to England. So you're left with an abusive father. I was sexually abused. He was physically abused. I tell that to people because obviously most of you are therapists. And out of that, I thought, when I grow up, I'll never abuse anyone and I'll never be frightened. And I've kept to that. I'm not saying I'm never nasty or rude because we're all human beings. Now, looking around the room, we can assume we're already drawn to certain people. I might think Sue hasn't got care in the world because she does art, she looks quite laid back. I might think this lady's got lovely clothes. The handwriting is mind-blowing. I learned it in Paris, and it's not until I had a car crash when I was in my 30s. I'm now 71, so I've been doing this 40 years. First thing people said to me, my handwriting's terrible, changes all the time. And I said, well, we change all the time, don't we? Everybody's story.
we change all the time with kaleidoscopes. In this room, we've had the luxury today to be ourselves. Most of the time, we're not ourselves. So what I used to have workshops called The Right to Be You. What I've tried to do with the handwriting is to inspire people to be who they want to be. You know, like this lovely lady did the Reiki healing, but you also told us your story. Never assume by looking at someone, you know. And people always say to me, my handwriting is terrible. The quicker you think, the more scatty your handwriting is. Now, I'll shock you now, because the most beautiful handwriting belongs to what group of people? Hmm? Criminals and paedophiles. Why? Now, we've only got to read the news, the mask, the deceit. So by looking at handwriting, I mean, I do a lot of fairs. Last week, I had a lovely lady. She looked so gorgeous, lovely shoes, lovely outfit. She couldn't speak properly. She was deaf. Now, I've never done that before, because obviously somebody came and said, well, I've got a lovely friend who's deaf, but at least you write things down, because obviously I have to analyse, and I always do it in my own handwriting. I hate computers. I can't stand the things. Everything I do is by hand. And I paint and draw as well. Where does handwriting come from? Why can I touch the subconscious mind like that? I'm not medium. Your handwriting comes from Broca's area. Anybody here left-handed? Okay. And you're particularly artistic. That's interesting. So your Broca's area is in the right-hand side of your brain. If you came from an older generation, what they used to do, they used to discourage people. They used to tie their hand behind their back or slap their wrist, whatever. Because what you're doing from the subconscious, which is your speech and writing center, all your emotions, whatever you're feeling, handwriting is the body language of the mind, which is why it's so powerful. And people forget that. So when people say, oh, what shall I write? What shall I write? One sentence, it takes me 4 hours to analyse one person's handwriting, because as we know today, we're kaleidoscopes, aren't we? We're extremely complex. We can't say, oh, Dawn's an extrovert, or this lady, you know, schizophrenic, but we put too many labels on people. Obviously, mental illness, alcoholism, everything is in your handwriting. The only thing you can't tell is the sex of the person, because there isn't such thing as a pure male, or the age of a person, because you can be old at 30 or young at 80. They're the only two things. So I was going to do Dawn's writing, but I think it's not fair, because that's not the way I work. When I first set up in my 30s, they were going to put me on live radio. They thought, so exciting, a graphologist. I was in the papers, never been done before. They threw this handwriting in my hand. Right, you can be on the radio in a minute. You can analyse this writing on the air. I just went cold. I said, excuse me, that's a suicide note. That is not written in normal circumstances. I do not have the permission of the man's wife, and I refuse to go. Because I get people, they come for a bit of a laugh, they say, oh, come on, I'll just scribble something, come on, I'll have a go, £10. Last week, a lady, she said, oh, I'll have the £10 one. I don't want you, don't worry, I don't need a consultation. Now, the thing is, it's like painting a portrait of somebody. You don't tell them they've got black heads and they've got, you try and write the words in such a way that that person realises how unique and special they are. I picked up that writing and I just went cold. That lady was just wearing black, and she said, oh, don't worry, I'll come back in 20 minutes. There was so much sexual abuse in it. I thought, I can't write that down. This is just a miniature analysis. So she came back and I said, if you want to speak, you can. Anyway, she read it. She said, can I talk? And out of it, she admitted, she'd been sexually abused by her brothers when she was a child and so on. I mean, in 10 minutes. So it opened so many doors. But the important thing is that I am there to enable the person to be themselves and to grow in a way which she did with dancing. It's like, I want people to dance. I want people to feel good about themselves. Like Dawn's journey, like all our journeys. And I think good is going to come out of our connection, all of us. Somebody might be drawn to me, somebody might need to have me, but actually we all need each other. And that's all I'm going to say. That's it.
Thank you, Sylvie. So much to think about. Because we do, and however much, however like we are, sometimes we make a judgment about someone on the moment we see them, don't we? And then when they don't act the way we expect them to, we start judging. Believe me, I put my hand up, I've done that. I'm Scorpio. God help anybody who knows me. But actually, do you know what? We've all got these things in our house. And there's someone like Sylvie who can help us get beyond those things. I think that's absolutely priceless. So thank you very much, Sylvie.
Pleasure.
Thank you. And now I have got programs, so I'm thinking, oops, who's next? So now Vivian can't be with us on today, unfortunately, because she's got high temperatures and not very well. So we're sending healing out to her as we're talking. But I'm just going to say a few words about Vivian because she is a really big part of what we're doing here today. And she talks about laughter yoga. Has anyone experienced laughter yoga? No? Okay. I'm hoping someone's got to come and demonstrate for me. Okay. Because laughter yoga is a therapy that helps you get beyond your conscious thinking. It takes you to a point like where you can smile about things and you can bring in those feel-good chemicals. When I first started, she suggested this to me. I've heard about it and I've seen it online. I've done it at home in the privacy of my own home because a friend used to do it online. But when she said, come and let's sit down and talk about it, I thought she meant talk about it, but she got me up laughing and pretending that I'm going to laugh. And I was so embarrassed. I just wanted to run. And I'm like, it's embarrassing. But that's what we come together for, to help overcome these obstacles. And I want to say a couple of little exercises that I just remember that she shared with us, and I want to leave this with you after. I've got to tell a little bit more about Vivian first, is the fact that we don't realise when we're laughing that we are actually releasing stress. Yeah. And how many of us go out of our house to have a good laugh with a friend? Or we'll go to a cinema, or we'll go to the pictures, or we've got to go outside of our circumstances to create happiness within ourselves. And actually, that's a waste of an opportunity, because if you find yourself in the midst of something and it is causing dis-ease within you, then that's the moment to put more tap out of your body, laugh about it, and go, for God's sake, this make me laugh. No, the person who's irritating you might not appreciate that, but you'll feel better. But you can take a moment, and that's what it does. Take a moment to go inward and laugh to yourself. And there are a couple of things I've got to just do with you in a moment, because I wasn't aware of this until Vivian shared it with me. Because she works a lot with people who've got anxiety, especially teenagers. And she's got a wonderful business called Punkhead, which helps people work through anxiety. And she's got lots of techniques with hypnosis and some different techniques that she uses. And I have experienced them, but I'll have to leave her to do that. She's going to do a little video for us all to watch. But I want to say sometimes, and my son used to say this all the time, for God's sake, Mum, don't take life so seriously. He'd say something to me and I'd be the next 20 minutes analysing it and thinking, what did he mean by that? Am I really that? Is that true? Have I upset him? Did I upset Nanny? Should I have not said that? And why do we do that? Because we're actually conditioned to take into account all of this. But sometimes you just need to come back to yourself and have a good laugh. And I'm going to just do one exercise because this is the one I can remember made a difference to me. And she said, if you tap, maybe just stand up and do it together. because sometimes you need to get the sensation through your whole body. And she said, you just gently tap on your hair and like, and then tap down here. Let it go. If you don't remember anything else about laughter, take it with you. Because sometimes we hold that in, we push those voices down, those pains that hurt, into our heart, and our heart becomes hardened to circumstances around us. If we can actually lighten up in that moment, we can change the circumstances beyond what we're experiencing. And I would say, I wish Vivian was here right now, because she would lead you into some amazing exercises.
Yeah.
And she is going to do some workshops with that.
Yeah.
If you find yourself getting too intense about things and you find yourself not being able to process things, have a good laugh to yourself. Ha ha ha, is up here? Exercise the top. Ho ho ho. You notice how your belly expands and you bring the energy into your body. Ha ha ha. That is so damn funny. And you've created a feel-good chemical, and that enables your brain then to see solutions instead of being stuck in a problem. And that's a very short version of
There's always a funny side.
I'm not going to look back on this one. Let's have a look. So let's have a look at what's next, because this is another one of those wonderful experiences.
That nasty by itself.
Okay. There's one of those lovely experiences which basically, when you asked Spirit, because I do work with Spirit, for an answer, someone pops into your life. Okay. And this next lady, Pip Rain, who I was going through this state, and I'll be honest, I'm walking away from this because it become too
much.
Too much. Yeah. And I was focusing on maybe the wrong things, like how to pay the rent and all that, and it wasn't really paying its way. So hence the reason we started applying for funding and things like that, and inviting in sort of small groups. I wanted to walk away. And a friend of mine, Tracy, said to me, Dawn, go and sit in that room and ask, what does the room want from you? Which might sound really bizarre, but I do believe that Spirit will give you what you need to hear. So I thought, okay. So I came and sat in the room. I sat in that window just behind where Sylvie was, and I sat there and I thought, okay, so reluctantly, surrender. What am I meant to do? Am I meant to walk away from this, or to not walk away? Am I meant to persevere with this vision that I'd seen as something possible and a room full of beautiful people? Or am I meant to walk away and go, nah, that's crazy? But in my heart, I knew that there were people out there who need what we're talking about today. And I sat there, and I just sat there for, it was less than a moment. I just sat there and thought, okay, what do you want? And this voice, as loud as what mine is right now, said, hold on to the room, Dawn. Do not give up. We are sending the right people. Now, I'm not joking, and this is God's honest truth, me standing here. Within a minute, the phone went off, and Pip was on the other end of the phone.
It's from Pauline, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As well,
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
I put something on Facebook. I just said, hey, everybody new to the area. Does anybody have any connections? Ready to offer my
That's
offerings?
Yeah. And
that
Pip,
was that.
would you like to come join us? Because that was what manifestation does.
Yeah.
Come join
Nice.
us.
Thanks, Doc.
Because, thank you, Pip. And, you know, I would say if you're stuck in a situation right now, take a moment just to go within yourself. What does your soul want you to do? Not what's your mind trying to stop you doing. What does your soul want you to do? And the fact that call, I don't know if it came up as your message or Facebook, I can't remember which way around it was, but it was instant. You can manifest anything you believe is possible if you allow yourself to go in and listen to that inner voice. So thank you, Claire.
No, thank you. Thank you to have this opportunity to, meet people. Because I'm fairly new to the area still, and we're having to go and collaborate and offer. So I'm a thank you. So I'm a breathwork facilitator, I work with the breath. And we all breathe. So the breath is like our medicine, if we look at it like that. So we've got so many different breathing techniques that we can put in our tool bag or tool belt or wear with us and take with us. So if I tell you a little bit about myself before I go on with that, down the route of the breath and how many breaths we can, obviously, the techniques we can bring into our lives. So I was kind of at a really transitional period of my life, and people say it's a midlife crisis, but it was an awakening, massive one for me. Years and years of, if I think about it, I stopped and I was on this hamster wheel in London, working in theatre, working as a swing, so basically being there for everyone else. Someone's ill, someone's injured. Oh, I'm saving the day. And, you know, using my brain constantly. So in my head a lot, opposed to my body. What does my body need? And I kind of burnt myself out. So when we're not listening to our bodies and we're not embodied and grounded, and then anxiety, I wasn't breathing properly into my body. It was here. And I was coping, basically, there was no one really listening. So I really did try to speak my truth, but I thought, hang on, no one gets this. You need to walk, not like shut the door on, well, actually I had to shut a door on a chapter of my life and go, okay, there's going to be people who are more aligned with me, who are willing and who are able to have the capacity to listen and understand. So it took a long time, and I feel as though I've kind of just come out of that grievance of an old life to a new one. So we have to grieve old lives, and it's never ending in a journey anyway. But cut a long story short, I sold my tiny little flat southeast London. I was like, I want to travel, I want to see the world. I went to Bali, went to Australia for 3 months, and I set myself up with the Joe Dispenza meditation. So I kind of was giving myself that time to just really, really, you know, just come back into myself. And I felt as though all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, I'm in my body again. And then from there, I was like, okay, just give yourself some space. You don't know what's next. I just needed space. And what happened was I was out in Australia and I got a call. My dad was very, very ill with COPD. I saw him for 2 weeks before he passed, and then the pandemic hit. So I was up in Yorkshire, where I love it, but I can't be in Yorkshire for just, it's not my home anymore. I can visit. I was like, where am I going to place myself? You know, I was meant to be traveling, but life happens, and this is the thing. It's like I had to do a lot of de-armoring to. We can't control life. We can't control who says things to us. We can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. And so, okay, I was there in Yorkshire, and I said, I want to do something spiritual. I knew I love spirituality, and I really, really like connecting to that world as well. So I was like, okay. The algorithms on my phone kept coming, breath work. So I did a bit of a Google, and then it was very, very sort of quick. In about, I'd say, a few days, I'd signed up to the Alchemy of Breath course, 400-hour online course. And then I went to Italy as well to be in the in-person bit a few months back. And so with the Alchemy of Breath, we had to do the whole inner journey. So the hero's journey, we had to do the shadow work, we had to do the inner child. So really finding ourselves again and coming back home to ourselves. And then we had the breath as well on top of that. So with what I would like to obviously offer, and with others as well, collaborate. So we've got so many different breathwork techniques. We have, I do love all of them, but the conscious connected breathing is like a circular breath, and it's a form of like somatic body therapy. So throughout our lives from birth, and it happens even pre-birth, from like past lives, and how we were born and our birth, and then our childhood, schooling, trauma, all of that, accidents as well. We hold everything in our cells and our tissues and our DNA. So we're all energy beings. And with this conscious connected breathing and the breath work, usually lie down so you can really, really let go and surrender. You can do it sitting up. And one-to-ones or groups. And with this, it takes you out of your thinking mind. So it takes you out of that chitter-chatter head, and it just like into the body. You go into that body, and also your unconscious, what you have buried and you've forgotten about, sometimes comes up to the conscious. And you don't need to go back to the root of the trauma to because that sometimes is re-traumatizing. So with this breath, what happens is we expel it. So this breath is constantly, so we inspire, we bring in spirit, and we exhale. So we're constantly fueling our body to activate it, to move stuck energy. And from here, some people cry, some people laugh. It's like the form of the dance. It's we hit things, that we go, what is that? But we don't need to analyze, and that's the analyzing brain that needs to just, it is what it is, and just give it away, to the ground or to spirit. And so with that, it's a form of like, that's a form of sort of somatic therapy. And again, the more and more you do it, people have like journeys that I've had a journey that was very, very personal. My dad had just died, and I was very, obviously, kind of in a way, shut down quite a lot. And I had this journey with a one-to-one, my mentor from Alchemy of Breath, and my dad was coming down with his hands, and I saw him, his ring, his old hands. He was there, and I was like, my dad's here. He can see me. He's listening to me. Sorry. So it was like, wow, okay, he sees me now, and he's listening. I really truly believe he's there with me, constantly connect to him. He was a fantastic musician, a singer, and I'm like, Dad, I'm listening wherever you're guiding me, and obviously who else is, and I'm going with my intuition, but I'm going to move from a really, really grounded state. And I've had other people going, oh, you're crazy, oh, you're this. So I've had to move away from a lot of people, absolutely. And by moving away from the people who were very skeptical or just didn't want to know, it's really helped me with my visions and my confidence to just say how it is, and how it is and what I'm feeling in my heart. So that is the conscious connected breathing. And also another breath, I won't obviously inundate you because there's quite a few, but we'll go the coherence breath. So if we just take the coherence breath today to start with, and the coherence breath is, what it does is bring us into our bodies and into the present and into the now. And it's a breath we can do like in the morning, at lunch break, or in the evening, or you can do it walking, like a walking meditation. You can do it with your meditation for a bit. You can it doesn't have to be set. You can just expand your imagination, or do it when you're swimming or running or cycling or sat on a boring train ride. You're like, okay, I'm bored now. Or, you can just bring yourself into that breath. So the breath coherence, what it does, it puts a nice sort of break on our sympathetic nervous system, and it brings us into the rest and digest, where we're very much in alignment with ourselves and our energy, and we can speak from a grounded and heartfelt space. And the coherence breath is fantastic for if you've got, like say, well, when you're speaking, if you've got like a family gathering you don't want to go to, you know, anything that you feel like it might be obligatory, or you've got an interview and you feel you just want to be in that place where I want to be grounded so my words do flow better. And this has really, really helped me to ground, because I used to get no problem with singing and dancing on stage, because that's a different person. But coming back to myself, I used to get quite anxiety. I used to get a bit of anxiety, and to just speak with my truth. So when I was on my own, it was fine, bliss. But again, we can't just sit under a tree, you know, and breathe. That's just not life. We've got to bring ourselves into a space to be seen and to be heard. So the coherence breath is an inhale through the nose for 5, and it's exhale through the nose or the mouth for 5. So it's 5, 5. So it's like a 6 breath for the minute. And you can, for example, you can do that, say, for 3-5 minutes in the morning, sit. You can have a little meditation with that as well. On your lunch break, wherever you are, you can just, even walking, try doing that sort of inhale, exhale. And as well with this breath, like really get, you can be lying down, and you can sit in a position where you just let go of that, any holding in your belly. You know how sometimes it's like we hold our bellies just to look thinner, maybe. Why? I don't know. Just make sure that you've got everything, just release everything out. And also you can breathe through the back, so expand the back. And as you're breathing through the body, we can breathe to our toenails and our fingertips. So we're breathing our whole body to get the circulation going. So if you'd like to try that and just bring yourself into a position, you can keep your eyes open, or you can close your eyes, whatever you feel you want to do today. So feel nice and grounded in your feet. If you can reach the floor, and your hands can be just anywhere that feel comfortable. Just scan your body before you start, from your crown of your head all the way down your shoulders, arms, pelvis, legs, to the feet. That's it. And I'm going to count, and then I will just stop and you go with your own rhythm. I'll give you a little bit of a meditation. So you're going to inhale through your nose, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Inhale, 2, fill the belly, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. And in, 2, 3. Expand that diaphragm. 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the body. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3. Good. 5. And in. Fill the back. 3, 4, 5. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And carry on. You can count in your own time if you want to, or stay with that rhythm of the breath. Good. And each breath, you're filling yourself, inspiring yourself. Inhale through the belly, the back, and the chest. And on the exhale, you're just detoxing anything you want to detox from the body. Inhaling, inspire yourself with what lights you up. And when you exhale, what do you need to detox? Any thoughts? Anything that's not serving you? That's it. And just stay with this breath for another few moments. It's safe to be in your body. It's safe to feel. So you might get some emotions coming up when you start really feeling into your body sensations. And if they do, just allow them to move through as you breathe. That's it. Good. And here we're just going to focus on our heart. So you can place a hand there and place a hand on your belly if that feels good as well. And massage that heart area as you breathe. So as you breathe that coherence breath through the nose on the inhale, massage your heart center and give it some love and care. And stay with that really nice 5-5 roughly breath. So if there's anything, any hurt in there still, just breathe and feel that through. Be with it. And know that you're always here for yourself. You're always here to give yourself that care. Give yourself some care through the breath. That's it. Relaxing those shoulders, any tension. Feel the tension melting away. And through here, if you feel any physical sensation that might be, like say, an ouchy shoulder, an ouchy knee, just notice that, acknowledge that. Don't need to say, go away, that won't do it any good. Just acknowledge the niggle and breathe through the niggle. Good. And then a couple more breaths here. And then just gently, in your own time, if your eyes are closed, just open and close gently. And notice any spot in the room and just see maybe a corner or something that you like looking at. Know that you're safe in your body. Nice plants, angels. And we're just from here just going to just shake all your body. Just gently, gently shake. You can stand up if you want to and give yourself a little shake out. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Shake up and down and the legs. And again, you can go with from here, you can go with your free movement as well through that breath. And we bring some movement into and just gently shake up, 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 up. Thank yourself for joining today, joining the group and come in here, shake it all out and shake it down and do some grounding through your feet, so feeling nice and firm through your feet, through your legs and your pelvis. Give yourself a little massage if you need to on places that feel ouchy. And then, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks a lot. Brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Wow, I think that was quite a moment for all of us. Thank you. Pleasure. Honestly, I can't put into words what I'm feeling right now. I feel as though I have actually come back into my body then. So I've been really up on the scatty because I've been running around doing all of these things. So
Yeah.
okay. Been running around doing all of these things, and I think we all do that, don't we?
Yeah.
Where we're out there and
Yeah.
looking ahead and
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
behind us. And I
I do that.
I feel like I want to cry.
Oh,
And I think, you know, for any of us, if you just take away that little breath of what is just that piece, come back into yourself. Because you are here, your soul is here within this precious body for a reason.
Yeah.
You've chosen this body to walk this earth. But often we forget how valuable we are and how valuable that intention is. Thank you.
no, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for
Thank So, thank you very much. I'm just feel so privileged to be surrounded by such beautiful people. Thank you. Now, I'm going to ask Sue if you'd like to just come and join me for a moment. Okay, because Sue and I have been running these little workshops. Well, they're not really workshops, are they?
Meditation and art on Monday, 6 till 8.
Yes. And I think we've learned about each other as much as people coming in. Because initially we were thinking meditation and art, absolutely love it. Because to me, it feels like a really good thing to bring people into a space where you're calm, peaceful, you're creating something beautiful. And then we look at the piece of artwork and ask people in the room to say, what do they see within that work of art?
And that's, to me, the most interesting part. Is that evaluation from others and yourself.
Because we can't see ourselves sometimes. What we're putting on the paper, on the canvas, is something different to what other people see us. Just like me walking into a room, I think I look da-da-da-da, and you might think, well, hell, I would never wear that with that. And we all have to start making judgments, don't we? But when you're using art, you go beyond the judgment. You're seeing into something deeper.
So, are we going to have a look at someone's doodle?
Would someone like to just have a little go? The idea is you pick up your little doodle or whatever it is you put onto your paper, and then we could either invite the person next to you to have a look at it and see what's in that picture, or if you want to be brave and come up here, we could work on it together. Would you like to?
Yes.
Yeah. Who would like to come forward first? Well, I'm actually looking at Kelly. I don't know why I'm really drawn to you. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I just felt drawn to draw a tree, an angel wing, and I don't know why I've done a random little flower down there as well.
Okay. So, would you like to turn it so?
Oh yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
It's strong, isn't it? Very vibrant. Very vibrant.
Okay. So with
A lovely heart.
Carol, what would you like to say? What do you see within that?
I think there's lots of ideas in there that's going around in your head.
Yeah, that's my brain.
Thank you, Carol. Helen, what do you see?
Well, I'm seeing a tongue. My eyesight's not very good, so I'm seeing something strange. But I think in the middle of the picture, on the left-hand side, to me it looks like there's a tongue that's going into the tree, blowing into the tree. And it's like a sort of snake tongue.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that is, but it's like a key, a lock and a key. But I'm not really sure what that is. Just blowing.
So Pip, what would you say you see?
Earthy, like earth, woodlands, woodland fairy.
Lee, would you like to say? What do you see?
All the magical wonders in life. Recognised everyone.
Shirley, what do you see?
She's like very strong. Purpose done. Purpose drawn. Something intentional.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So can I take it for a moment? Okay. So what we're putting onto this paper is an energy. Okay. The colours that Kelly has chosen are important. If you notice, she's chosen red.
Yes.
So what does red mean to you?
Power.
Passion.
Power.
Okay. So coming from my perspective at the moment, from what I'm being shown, red says this is what you need to bring into your life, more red. So breathing that red into your life, and right into the base chakra, so you feel safe taking the next step. And also you've got in here what feels like roots, but it's a bit like too out there. Maybe you need to be a bit more centered right now, just so that you can come into your center and go, what do I want, not what do I feel drawn to have to do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And this, to me, it looks like feather. You see that feather on the side there? And that feather says that spirit is watching over you. It's just maybe take a little bit more time to listen, and then you will feel safe within yourself.
Yeah. That resonates strongly. Yeah.
And because I'm coming from my perspective with my knowledge, with my experiences, from guidance from above, each of us see Kelly in a different way. So nobody's advice is wrong. So my thought is on this is don't ever be afraid to give someone a little bit of advice if you feel it comes through. Because your experiences in your life are what that person might need to hear today. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. Thank you. Well done. So, you know, if we're looking at everything that we've done today, it is about spirit. Because you are all spirits here on this earth who've chosen to walk this journey. Now, I know a lot of you I do know, one or two I don't know so well, but I bet there have been times in your life when you want to run away from this and go, what the heck if I agree to? Yeah. Yes. Maybe we'll share our story. And often there will be resistance to stepping into that next step. So, you know, if anything you've heard today has resonated with you, take a moment to process that. What have I learned about myself today? What can I learn? What can I take away today that I can bring into tomorrow? Or when you go home and suddenly the house is chaos and the kids are gone, and you want to go, oh, bring me back to here. You can bring yourself back to here. And that's the valuable part about it. We always have that choice. And each of what's been offered here today is a stepping stone. You know, that stepping stone will bring you back into yourself, give you more calm, more peace within you. If it doesn't last, we need to redo it. Because, you know, for me, 64, 65-ish, I've got 64 years of stuff to undo and past life stuff. We can't expect one step to take us to who we want to be, but we can be happy with who we've become at this moment. And if we can find that joy and that happiness and be really proud of ourselves within this moment, whether it's artwork or dancing or breathing or talking or massage, just reaching out and telling someone, I'm having a really rubbish day today. That in itself, you're voicing what you're experiencing. And that voice comes for a reason. Often we suppress it. And all of this, in a more creative way, is what we're trying to help you to do. And, you know, what I would ask of you is please, can you give some feedback? Because we've put some paperwork underneath and some cards and some information for you to take away. A little leaf, which maybe you could put a blessing on to add to our tree. But remember, what is your blessing you take away from today? The blessing you take away from today will give you that strength to walk into that next step. And just keep reminding yourself that you have this choice within you. We're all very fortunate. We're in a lifetime where spirituality is okay. We're not going to be burnt to mistake. We have a choice. And remember, our soul inside, sitting within us, it comes to us from love. We come with the intention to create something on this earth. It starts with you, creating your own best version of yourself. And from that space, you will be shown what you are destined to do. And often people will go, what am I meant to be doing with this, Dawn? I want to know what I'm up to, what am I doing? Show me the way. And I'm like, no, go inwardly. Go inwardly, and then the steps will be presented. Thank you. And I'm so grateful to you for getting me back into art. That was something I had been avoiding.
Oh, really?
I had, yes, I kind of step in and out of it because I think for me, working with somebody is more powerful.
Yeah.
We all have the ability to do these things by ourselves. But I think coming together, we've learned from each other.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
You know, working with just Pip for a short time and with Lynn and Sylvie and all of these people have come and they've brought me different aspects of myself that I've not.
Well, I think today has shown just how individual everyone is, but it's all so healing.
All connected.
Yeah, very much so.
And if that's okay, I'm not. Obviously, as therapists, we're all here for a purpose because we want to share. But I'd like to just take a moment to ask you, what have you learned today, or what are you going to take away from today? Can I start
with me? I am going to take the breathing. I struggled with that. I got a cough, which just makes me think, more practice.
Yeah, excellent, well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to sit down for a
Yes,
minute?
please.
Okay. If anyone wants to come join me, feel free. Lee, can I ask what will you take from today?
All of it really. I think it's just sort of being able to remind yourself just to let go in different ways to let go and to be comfortable with it.
Brilliant, well done. Thank you. I'm so glad you came. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Shirley.
The dancing, realizing that you can let yourself go and not suppress your feelings. I felt quite at ease with doing that, and felt I could open up a bit.
Excellent, well done. And thanks, Shirley. I'm so grateful you're here. Well done. Okay. And the young lady at the back, is it Ellie? Yeah. What will you take from today? The breathing. Okay, lovely. And please feel free to come back. Right. And my number's on the details there. If you'd like to put your details on everybody, we can actually put this forward to help with our funding as well. Because, you know, they want to know how are we helping people. What I think I'm doing, what we think we're offering might be different to what you think we're getting. We need to know both sides of it. So thank you. Thank you very much, Ellie. And there's Ellie as well, wasn't it? Ellie.
I think I'll take away a lot of different techniques and things that you can do to keep yourself calm, level-headed.
No, thank you, well done. And actually, I'm really privileged that two young ladies have come because that is why actually one thing I'm really passionate about is working with youngsters. Because the younger we can work with children and young ladies like these beautiful ladies sitting here, you can change your life from this moment. Because from this day, you've always got that choice. So well done for showing up today. Thank you. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. And Pip.
And the power of like just coming together.
Yes.
So everything. Yeah. It's just and supporting each other, knowing that this work does work. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Pip. And Lynn.
What Pip said. So, and also I was mesmerised when Carol was doing her. I literally sat there and I was like, I could feel really heavy and like, oh, I'm sitting in that chair. And yeah, just so much, sometimes we do need that touch as well.
Yeah, it's very important, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's really important actually. Because I think we get a little bit reluctant to reach out, should we or shouldn't we? But sometimes just calling it in says that your soul is ready, your body is ready to take that healing journey. So thank you, Lynn. Thanks, Lynn. Sylvie, what will you take from today?
It's just lovely to belong, you know, because I mean, I've done my stuff for 40 years and sometimes, like yesterday, I had a really bad day and the only thing that kept me going, I thought, right, I'm going to be at Dawn's, be with everyone, to have that connection and know that we're making a new family, how family should be.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Sylvie. Helen.
I feel, I mean, everything's been really useful. I feel this, the power of both giving and receiving. There's something about, for me, very powerful. Obviously, I was quite nervous about, being in front and sharing things, and it's quite personal. But then there's also a surge of energy that can come from that. So not just to be the one who's receiving all the time, and not just to be the one who's giving all the time, but to have that balance of giving and receiving, I feel is really powerful and really exciting.
Yes.
What can happen, and Dawn, you creating the space for that potential is very masterful. Yeah, intuitive and masterful. Something I was discussing, sorry, not to hijack the.
No, that's fine. Carry on, please. It's really helpful.
Something I was chatting with Carol about is the idea of like a club sort of thing where we can be. I don't know. We can maybe talk about this later. But it's so lovely to experience all these different things and to be giving and receiving. And I'm just wondering if somehow something could open up.
Yes,
that
definitely
allow that.
Yeah, and that is what we're looking for, ideas.
Yeah.
And I think Sylvie has mentioned maybe doing a friendship circle
where
we just can all drop in if you want to. We could share,
because that's not controlling. People just come and just be friends.
Yeah.
No gossip, no nasty, just easy. Just the right to be you again, just being yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Friendship, connecting.
Yeah,
being there for each other.
I think there's a need for it. And I think one of the things I saw, like when we did our last Mind Body Spirit Fair, and I'm not being disrespectful to the people who were there, they actually came in with the intention of helping others, and yet they really needed help themselves. I felt like we wanted to shut the door and said, "Now sort yourselves out," because the carers of this world are not always caring for themselves. And I think that's so important that we reach out to each other. So if you've got something going on in your life, let's just call a circle day. I don't know if we call it that, friendship circle or something. Just where we can say, I want to get together. Because I would love to instigate it, but if it comes from you, it's because it's you gaining that strength to step forward. So thank you. And pamper days as well. That's what we were thinking, especially watching Carol doing that. I thought we'll need a bit of Carol, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And so you need to get rid of.
I'm going to go.
Okay, brilliant.
Thanks,
Thanks.
All right, take care. See you soon.
Thank you.
See you.
And Kelly, anything else?
Yeah, just echoing what everyone else has said, really. But for me, it's just being in this space with everyone, like-minded people. Just so grateful to have something like this with you, great young. I think it's amazing. Yeah, and making time for yourself and spending time with your soul, I guess, in whichever format you choose. Yeah, it's been lovely. So thank you.
Brilliant, Kelly. Thank you so much for coming. I'm just so pleased to hear. Thank you. Ezra.
Again, everything really. It's been amazing just listening to everybody and feeling that you don't have to do everything on your own. It's something to be a part of and connect with everybody. And for me, I shut myself away a lot and just try and learn everything by myself. But it's actually really just nice to be here and know that other people are doing the same sort of thing.
Brilliant, thanks, Ezra. And well done for turning up today, because I know it takes a lot sometimes to get through that door.
Yeah.
But well done. And you look amazing today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for staying.
No, you're very welcome. Carol.
I think it was just nice to hear everyone's journey, how they got there. Everyone was different and they all had really personal things going on in their lives, and everyone that has chosen their different paths, but they all came together, and I think that's really thought provoking as well. And, yeah, it's very good, lovely day.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, sharing. Jane, can I ask, what will you take away from today?
Jane, the big one.
I love the energy. The energy from the people, just even people who are part of an audience, if you like, not just therapists, is lovely. Everybody was engaged with the therapists and interested in what was happening. I enjoyed everybody's. Carol's, I mean, I didn't really realise how much Indian head massage, how much you do in that. So I think that's on my list to do. My meditation, like I said, I felt really engaged with the meditation, which is not usual for me because my brain is like all over the place all the time. And I find it really hard to visualize. I found that easy to visualize. The breathing, well, I mean, you said you saw an algorithm. I mean, that just blew my mind. I thought an algorithm on a phone. Was that on a phone? Or
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was yeah.
and I really never realised there was anything out there like you were talking about. But that's something else, which is like sparked an interest. And regarding the, I think probably what surprised me the most is dance had really resonated with me because when I was doing all that thing and talking about dance, my brother and I are half American, we're half Black American, and we were illegitimate Black Americans in the 50s, so you can well imagine. And my brother and I loved to dance, right? But I could dance before he could, and I never had any formal dance. But when we're together, we dance. Right? It's not that we're close. He's got his life, I've got mine. But it made me think how much we loved each other. Because when I'm with him, I feel this huge connection, not just because we're brother and sister, it's because we've shared that experiences from like way back. And I love being with him, and I love being really close with him. And your dance made me think about that. And I've never thought about it like that before. So this has been a lovely experience for me. Everybody's contribution has been wonderful, but your dance made me think about us as kids and our background. And I mean, I love to dance. I dance in my kitchen all the time. I'm completely lost in whatever's going on. And my husband and my stepson stand there and go, she's at it again. And that's, you know, because I've got the radio on and I'm dancing to like music or Alexa, depending on how it is. And it is really, when you say it, it is so powerful, and you shouldn't have to worry about what people think. You know, so it's been a really wonderful experience. And still, I feel connected with how we said that at the beginning. And I think the friendship group will be a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Jane.
And also, I've enjoyed working with my friend Jess, even though there's 30 odd years between us, but I think we're quite friends. Yes, so it's been a nice time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm so grateful that you stepped in and helped with the cups of tea and everything.
Well, this is my thing, really. Way back in my past lives, I was probably a slave or something. So,
not in this lifetime. You volunteered this one.
I did.
But also, I think that was really lovely because Jane, I'm one of these people, I know I need help support, and I know that, but one of the hardest things for me is reaching out. Like I'll struggle with social media, I'll struggle with doing that. And I think with our last events, I ended up kind of more doing it on my own and absolutely shattered because of it. And yet I know it needs to be done. So you keep pushing, don't you? And Jane, I didn't even say to her very much, I think I was just having one of those moments about everything in the world. And I just said to her, oh, I don't know what to do. I can't do it all. And she said, well, I'll do the teas and coffee. And I felt this massive sense of relief. It might not seem like a huge thing, but the fact that someone would take some of that responsibility really felt enlightening to me. And I just suddenly had this burst of energy and like, okay, we're on track again. And it was so, you know, it's just that one small gesture that someone makes sometimes does make a difference. So thank you, Jane. So grateful you're here. Thank you. Thank you. And Jessica.
Hi. There's quite a lot to say. I found every single person that came up and spoke. I was really fascinated by what they were saying and sharing what I saw. I'm really interested in all the different things you shared today. Like first of all, I really liked hearing about the meditation thing. I found that really inspiring to hear. You telling us how much that's actually helped you and helped you with gratitude. And so I meditate quite a bit, but maybe not as much as what you probably do for it to help you that much. So I'd be interested to know how much you meditate each day and which
Half an hour every day, for 8 weeks, and we'll see how much it's changed.
Half an hour.
At least half an hour, yeah. I didn't believe it. I've meditated for years, but only done it on and off. I mean, that was part of it. You have to meditate for at least half an hour every day. And I was like, oh, myself half an hour every day. You think it's quite difficult. It's not.
Did you go on a course?
Yes, I did.
Was
Yeah.
it successful?
You have to have a bit of a background, I think. So I wouldn't know. I don't know if it's easy or if it's not. It's sort of a long conversation with somebody about whether you're right for the course, and the course is right for you. But it's the best thing I've done.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. If it's okay, if I just bring it back to Jessica for a moment.
Yeah.
Because I think she got some valuable points to share as well. I think because Jessica, and can I share? We've only known each other a short while and on Zoom. So we've not really known each other in the room. And I think you reached out about a year ago. And the growth that you've had in this 1 year is unreal. You are a classic example of how when you set the intention to make a change, you can do that, Jess. You've come a long way down. I'm so proud of you.
And the strange thing about it is, when I'm talking to Jess, she went to the same school as my stepson. She's the same age as my stepson. She can't remember him, but I thought, what a connection.
Yeah.
About, she's the same age, went to the same school, live in Orange.
Wow.
So, and she's got the same name as my stepdad. So there's a lot in common.
Thank you.
Nothing's a coincidence, is it? It's all meant to be. Nothing's a coincidence.
I think everyone in this room is here for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Jess, what was the thing you will take away from today?
Well, all of it really, because one thing was about the meditation, and I'm also interested what kind of ones help you the most. So I'd maybe be interested in doing more of that with you at some point.
I didn't realise there was 10 different types of meditation, and I'll do a lot more of that. But yeah, you get into a lot by then. But yeah, it was really interesting. I learned a lot on my course. I felt a bit out of depth because I was like, oh, I've only ever done visual meditation. I haven't really, and there's chanting and there's walking and all sorts. That was interesting.
Well, thank you, Jess, and thank you for coming to help Jane today and help us with teas and biscuits and things. Thank you. I think, it's nice to see all the little pieces of the jigsaw coming together because, when you're on a journey, it's not about one person or the other. Because when I first started this journey, people get very connected to me and then almost become dependent on me, which is not really what we're asking for. Everything here is to help you empower yourself. So please take away the tips that you've learned today. Give us some feedback, if you could give us some feedback, because we could use all that. Maybe put a thing out on Facebook and just say, that was interesting, or whatever you feel. Okay? Because there is someone sitting at home today who does not know how to get out of their trauma. There's someone sitting at home today who wished to God that someone would just show them the way.
If we were to write on Facebook, I'm just wondering, your page where you share the information about the event, could we post on that page to say, as a sort of feedback on the event, saying that was wonderful? Thank you.
Yeah, we can, absolutely. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, but I don't use it much for myself.
Okay, thank you.
But if I could go onto your page and
I think we might have to connect as friends. I'm not sure yet.
We are friends.
Oh, we are just
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And I do have a page. If you look on the little leaflet I put out for you, there's a little picture that you can take a picture of, QR code I think they call it. Or there's a page called Dawn's Nirvana, which I'm trying to adapt as my Facebook. And within there, I keep posting stuff, and it might be something that someone said really useful today, or a thought that I've had, a little video which says, "Hi, guess what we're doing today?" It's not for everybody, but if you want to share something, remember that there's 5,000 people behind that website. Your friends might hear something that Carol said today and think, wow, that makes a difference. Lynn's friends might resonate with Lee. We don't know who is listening and who's going to resonate with who. And I think that's the power of teamwork. And I think this is where, now, if we're looking at spiritually, because we said about doing more spiritual groups now, stepping into yourself and acting spontaneously when you get an insight to do something. Don't put it on the shelf and leave it up there with all the beautiful ornaments, because yes, they're lovely to look at, but they're not taking action. If you take action, you will be in the flow of who you're meant to be. And I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for sharing, just for being, and just for being part of this beautiful group. Honestly, I feel a bit emotional now. Control. I need a breathing exercise. Okay. But for the moment, what I'd love to do is, because I said we're going to have a break and then you can go home, but I think we've run a little over time. But I think everything that's come in here today has been valuable. I think it was meant to be as well. So thank you for your extra time as well. But what I'd love to do is just connect as a, it's almost like kind of meditation, but it's more healing for the rest of the area. Okay. Because we're very fortunate that we are here today. And I think it's a blessing to spend that time with each and every one of you for your own personal reasons and for my reasons. Maybe just thinking of, for the moment, just think of a beautiful lake of water within the centre of this room. And this is all the love that we put into this room today. Okay, so just taking a moment, just visualising beautiful lake. Okay, yeah, you can stand up if you want to. Okay. So just seeing a lake of water. In your mind's eye, and just saying thank you for what you've learned today, what you've experienced, going into that place of gratitude, because that's the quickest way to gently lift yourself up. And from this water, see a beautiful waterfall coming out, and you can bring in a colour with it. And see this waterfall just flowing out over the spaces, the homes, the people in this area. Just see it going out. So it's like a beautiful waterfall flowing out. And that each of this feeling of love and tenderness and kindness and friendship will find those people who are ready to step out and make a difference in their life. To see that flowing, see it going higher and going out to the areas beyond Great Yarmouth, to your homes, to those places where there is trouble and the people don't think they've got choices. Because your intention, your love can reach people who are really looking right now. And sitting at home praying that they can find some help. As we say thank you to our guides and our loved ones to be overseeing this healing for anyone that is ready to take steps forward onto their journey, to make some new choices today, following those stepping stones to a happy and more joyful life. And we leave this in your care. As we say thank you to everybody who's taken part today, to everyone who's orchestrated them being here today, we say thank you. And then just bring it back to yourself and just in your mind's eye, just repeating the Lord's Prayer to yourself. Just say it quietly in your mind and in your own privacy, your home, just repeating in your voice, inwardly, and letting those words flow out. Because that's the quickest, gentlest way to connect with your higher self, and bring in that high vibration. To recognize that you are part of the whole. We see a beautiful blue light going out, surrounding your body, putting you in your own protection field, with all the light of silver and gold coming into your energy field, in the male, female energies, knowing that you can feel balanced within this space. We ask the Lord, please put your cloak of protection around your aura. And see that beautiful bright white light from your protection field just radiating out, protecting you from harm from outside, enabling you just to stay within your own center. So we give thanks to our family, our friends, and all those who've helped us to grow, who've tested us and lifted us up. We give thanks. For we would not be who we're meant to be today, if it were not for those journeys, for those people who have enabled us to grow. And to you, I give thanks. Thank you. And special thank you to Jamie at the other end of our recording. And for those people who are going to step forward because of the vibrations that we've created today, we open the doors and say welcome to our healing sanctuary. Thank you. And thank you for the part that you've each played. Because it takes many parts to make someone to a whole. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie, for recording. So appreciate your help today. Thank you. I'm going to stop this now. Oops, I don't know how to stop. Yes, I do. I'm thinking I'm on my phone. It's a nice, isn't it? How are you?